Hey, 30 years ago when I started aquarium keeping, they told me aquarium maintenance was simple. But that was a lie. My tanks were a mess, my fish were stressed, and I almost gave up. But then I discovered something so game changing, it completely transformed my aquarium. Hey, stick around because this might just save your tank too. Hey, if you ever struggle with cloudy water, algae that takes over, or fish that just won't thrive, I've been there. It's frustrating, time consuming, and can make you question if keeping an aquarium is even worth it. But trust me, the solution isn't as complicated as you might think. Today, I'm going to share the exact steps that I took to fix my failing tanks and turn them into thriving, stunning aquariums worth looking at daily. Let me paint you a picture. A couple decades ago, I had three tanks: a 10-gallon, a 20-gallon, and a 55-gallon. I had dreams of lush plants, vibrant fish, and crystal clear water, but instead I ended up with brown sludge, floating debris, and fish that looked, well, let's just say they weren't happy. I tried everything: expensive filters, chemical treatments, and even daily water changes. Nothing worked. Well, here's the thing that nobody told me: the problem isn't just in the equipment or the water changes, it's in the ecosystem itself. And once you understand how to balance it, everything changes. The first thing that I realized is that aquariums isn't just a box of water, it's a mini ecosystem. Every piece, from the fish to the plants to the bacteria, plays a role. The problem was, I was disrupting that bacteria balance. For example, I was overfeeding my fish. Did you know that leftover food is one of the biggest causes of ammonia spikes? And at that time I didn't. So I started feeding less, just a pinch of food, enough for my fish to finish in 2 minutes, and that alone made a huge difference. Here's where I really going wrong. I was cleaning so much. Scrubbing the glass, rinsing the filter media under tap water, vacuuming the substrate every week. I thought I was helping, but I actually was destroying the beneficial bacteria. Now I only clean the glass when absolutely necessary. I rinse the filter media in tank water, not tap water, to preserve those bacteria, and I vacuum the substrate once a month, not weekly. So just recently I started with 15-minute routine. Now that video is called How I Created a Thriving Aquarium with Just 15 Minutes a Day, and I will put that link either side to the video up in the right hand corner for you in the video. But these small changes helped stabilize my tanks. If you're not using live plants in your aquarium, you're truly missing out. Plants don't just look good, they're natural filters. They absorb nitrates, produce oxygen, and outcompete algae for nutrients. Even I started with easy plants like Java fern, Anubias, and Amazon swords. And within weeks, I noticed a massive improvement in water quality. Hey, for those worried about plant care, like I did before I tried corium plants, don't be. Most beginner plants require little to no extra maintenance. A simple LED light and nutrient rich soil, or you can use an occasional root tabs, are all you need. So I was using the wrong filter for my tanks. Bigger isn't better, or bigger isn't always better. But what you need is a filter that matches your tank's bioload, the amount of waste produced by your fish and plants. So I switched to sponge filters for my smaller tanks and upgraded to a canister filters for my 55 gallons. Both changed worked wonders. This was the hardest lesson for me. Fixing a tank, doesn't happen overnight. You need patience. Again, I'll say that again. You need patience and lots of it. I started testing my water weekly with a liquid test kit, and instead of panicking every time a change happens, I gave my tanks time to adjust. Consistency in feeding, water changes, and lighting schedules is the key. Water changes are essential, but often misunderstood. Instead of changing large amounts of water all at once, I started doing small, consistent water changes, about 10 to 15% weekly. And this keeps the water parameters stable, and it also reduces stress on the fish. Always use a dechlorinator during water changes to neutralize the harmful chlorine and chloramines, and just make sure the temperature is within a couple degrees of your tank water. One mistake I made early on was overstocking my tanks. Too many fish in a small space creates more waste than any filtration and plants can handle. So follow the 1 inch per gallon rule as a starting point, and then, of course, always consider the specific needs of your fish. Some species require more space than others. If you're not testing your water regularly, you're flying blind. A liquid test kit is your best friend. Check for ammonia, nitrites, and nitrate levels weekly. These numbers will tell you what's going on in your tank and help you catch problems before they get out of hand. Lighting isn't just for aesthetics. It plays a crucial role in plant growth and algae control. I switched to a programmable LED light that runs for 8 hours a day. Too much light encourages algae growth, so limit the lighting to about 6 to 8 hours a day. Other tanks, I use a timer that truly can make this process so much easier. Algae can take over if you're not careful. So instead of using chemicals, I take it out by hand, and I introduced algae-eating fish like Siamese algae eaters and Otocinclus, as well as snails like nerites. They keep the algae in check naturally, but remember, they're not substitute for proper tank maintenance. Keeping a log of your aquarium activities can be a game changer. Record your water test results, maintenance schedules, and even any changes you make. This helps you identify patterns and figure out what worked best for your tank. Because, after all, each tank is different and can have dramatically different results, even with the same fish and plants. After making these changes, I remember walking into my room one morning and seeing my 55-gallon tank just sparkling. The water was clear, the plants were lush, and my fish were more active than ever. It was really like a completely different tank. That moment made all the effort worth it. So, Ben, you ask, what's the takeaway here? Well, aquarium maintenance isn't about expensive gear or constant cleaning. It's about creating balance, feeding less, cleaning smart, use live plants, choose the right filtration, and be patient. Add to that regular water testing, thoughtful stocking, and proper lighting, and you'll have a thriving tank in no time. Trust me, if I can turn my tanks around, so can you. If this helped, hit subscribe and check out my next video or even more tips to level up your aquarium game, and I will see you there.